Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to today's unseen video. We've got quite a bit to go through because of course it's the fallout of Saturday night's main event. We do have a top story and this is quite an interesting story. There seems to be a narrative doing the rounds on social media that the fans are turning on Cody Rhodes. We actually touched on it yesterday when there was someone seen holding a sign that said overrated, and we saw there were some accounts that were trying to push that narrative like the crowd are turning on Cody, right? Well, we've actually had some footage now, and it is undeniable that there is a section of the crowds that seem to have turned on Cody. I still think it's a very small section of the crowd. What seems to be getting ignored are all of the Cody signs. You might have seen opposite the hard camera that there was people holding up letters that said C-O-D-Y for Cody, right? There's kids that dress up as him. I mean, there is undeniable support for Cody, and all of that seems to be getting ignored, right? Instead, we have accounts like this put in, the crowd started cheering for KO, like making out it was everybody. I do think this is very, very misleading, but I do also agree that there is a section of the crowds, that do start cheering for Kevin Owens, right? So let's press play and you can hear it for yourself, right? So this is some footage WWE have put out. You can undeniably hear boos in there, right? The crowd, there is a mixture of boos and there are some cheers as well, right? But to ignore the boos is painting an incorrect picture. In fact, I would argue there's more boos. I would actually argue I can hear more boos than cheers, which is why for me it's a small section of the crowds. Now, when he goes up in the corner, you can hear over that part of the arena that there is a cheer for him, right? I think what's really interesting here is, why would there be such support for Kevin Owens? I think there's a couple of things at play. I think, first of all, Cody's title run has not been the most exciting. I think since he won that title, the booking has not been brilliant, right? Then I think the argument that Kevin puts forward is a compelling one, right? You can understand where he's coming from. You can understand as to why he feels so betrayed. Of course, how is it right, though, that he put his hands on his friend? That, for me, and for many people, is the moment the line was crossed. As soon as he physically started beating up Cody after Bad Blood, that was a line crossed. It's all well and good him saying what he's saying, being upset, wanting to talk about it. Maybe if he got upset with Cody, didn't want to know him anymore. I think people could understand that. But actually physically attacking your friend, you have crossed a line, and for some reason there's some people out there that don't seem to be able to recognize that, right? And so he has got some support and people are buying into what he is saying because the argument he puts forward is quite a compelling argument. But as I said, actions speak louder than words, and honestly, like, his actions have been atrocious. Like him lashing out to Randy and hitting that pile driver, which is a banned move in WWE, and him attacking Cody after Bad Bloods. Like, for me, this isn't a person that should be supported, even if verbally he is making some good arguments, right? So I think that's at play as well here. And then the third factor is that this match ended with Cody using a chair. I think Triple H has got a very interesting approach to heels. It's different to what we saw with Vince. You know, heels were heels under Vince, but here we're seeing them kind of having like valid points. So like, you can understand the fans listening to what Kevin is saying, and you can understand the fans kind of starting to think, well, he's got a point actually. He does have a point with what he's saying. You know, Roman did cause him lots of problems, tried to end his career, and now you're going to partner with him. And so you can sort of see that point of view. Like, Triple H didn't have to present Kevin in this way. This is a narrative that they're choosing to kind of present him. Same with Drew. A lot of people felt that Drew had very, very valid arguments when he was feuding with CM Punk, right? A lot of people feel the same about Liv. You know, Rhea injured Liv. She was out for, I think it was like 12 months, something like that. When she came back, of course she wanted revenge. She got that revenge by taking Dominic, by getting Rhea out of the Judgment Day, by taking Rhea's title, by smashing her face in. And to some people, that's valid. To some people, yes, Rhea deserved all of those things. So we are seeing a pattern of the heels being given some very relatable kind of issues, if you will, or you can see their point of view, right? And that's not how we presented heels under Vince. And I do think that is also muddy in the water. Why Cody chose to win the way that he won is something that also needs to be studied, because when he hit that crossroads on that chair that was down on the ground, he had the option to kick it away. He didn't. He used the chair. Now, heels are bad people because they cheat, they take shortcuts. Baby faces are meant to do things the right way. They're meant to be the example, right? They're who the kids look up to. Kids look up to Cody. So Cody hitting that crossroads, using that weapon, it's not a good example that he is setting to the kids. So that is definitely something he's going to have to answer for. So yeah, there is a lot to unpack. There is a lot of reasons as to why we find a section of the crowd, like, you know, cheering on Kevin here. But to present it this way and make it sound like it's everybody is completely misleading, right? So we had that. Again, we had it again here. I mean, this really is something I'm getting tagged in a lot today. Crowd really started chanting, "You deserve it." Again, it wasn't all of them. It's a minority, but you can hear this "You deserve it" chant, right? As Cody is being stretchered away.
Clear it back! Come on, guys! Where you at here? I got you, Cody. I got you. I got you, Cody.
Again, you can definitely hear it, but you can hear it's in the distance. So for me, this is a minority of the crowds that have decided to align with Kevin. And so this is why we're getting what we're getting, right? So that's kind of one of the big talking points, you know, are the crowds turning on Cody Rhodes? And I just wanted to address that. Not that we've really reached a conclusion, because actually the more that this is seen, the more that people will turn, right? The more this narrative gets out there, the more you're going to start seeing this backlash build. We've seen it time and time again in the past. So this is a slippery slope for WWE. I do think it would be in their best interest for Kevin Owens to really do something that crosses the line to try and quash some of this support that's kind of growing for him, right? Hey guys, this is Days from the Future. I'm actually adding this into Unseen afterwards, right? Because news broke whilst I was recording. Cody Rhodes' injury update following Saturday night's main event. So it says here, the historic return of Saturday night's main event ended with Cody retaining his undisputed WWE title in a thrilling match. But Kevin Owens would bring an end to the night with a heinous attack on the American Nightmare after the broadcast went off air. Earlier today, it was confirmed Cody Rhodes has suffered a cervical swelling and was kept overnight at a local hospital for observation. While x-rays were negative for a fracture, Rhodes has been officially diagnosed with axial compression of the cervical spine, as well as a cervical strain with spasm. Be sure to follow WWE on social media, blah, 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 blah. Now, obviously, we know that this is a work. We know it's not real, right? So there's nothing to really worry about. But yeah, it certainly implies that they're going to keep Cody off TV for a bit. I don't expect to see him on Friday, of course. And I know that this opening segment might seem a bit long, kind of focused on this, but I was actually going to do this as a separate video because it really does feel like the big talking point today. So, and then obviously getting this update as well just sort of makes sense to include it all here. So yes, let's get back to Unseen. So Kevin has got a new profile picture here, so he's changed his banner showing him delivering that package pile driver to Cody. As well as that, we've got this image that got posted where he says mine, and he's got the championship. I believe this is an old picture. This isn't a current picture. This is from a photo shoot they did years ago, right? But Kevin says, mine. Champman's got a theory. He says with Jesse Ventura saying that Kevin Owens was the real winner after the ref got injured, and KO leaving with that winged eagle title, I would love to see KO go everywhere with that title, calling himself the real WWE champion. This could end with both titles being hung up in the ring, ladder match, first person to grab both belts is the undisputed WWE champion. I think that's really fun. I think that's really, and it keeps the winged eagle around for a while as well. So he could go around with this title, claiming himself to be the real world champion. A story that we've seen before, of course. And so I really like it. I thought that was so good. I wanted to include it here. Kian said, do we think after Saturday night's main event, we could see a backstage Triple H being attacked? Essentially, this prompts Randy to come back or something. We know Triple H can't be physical. So I wanted to include this thought because everyone's asking, where is this heading? Where is this going? And actually, we've just got a big update from Fightful. Fightful are reporting that part of the reason why we did this is because we can't have Cody or Kevin on SmackDown next week because it was taped. And obviously, we couldn't have them out there in front of the crowds because we would have ruined Saturday night's main event and how it was going to play out. So the way they're getting around it is Cody's just been stretchered out. He's going to be injured. And what we're going to get on SmackDown is a backstage interview, probably from Kevin's car, right? Where he's going to give us an update, right? But this is how they're getting around the SmackDown being taped situation, right? So where is it going after that? Well, we don't know, to be honest, but the idea that Triple H may need protecting from Kevin, I think is a really fun angle, right? I don't know if we see any more Triple H Kevin or if that was just a one-off at Saturday night's main event. I certainly don't think Triple H will be attacked, but, you know, Kevin could keep intimidating, keep going up to him in gorilla. And then we've got a few people that can stand up for Triple H. Randy makes a lot of sense. But of course, 2025 is a big year for John Cena. John Cena could also be that person. So yeah, there's options, right? Where this goes, we're not quite sure. But I really do like what Champman was saying about maybe having a real world champion, both going around claiming they're the champion, do a ladder match, and that could be pretty fun thing to do at the start of 2025. So for me, the fallout of this story has been the big story of the day, so I wanted to make sure we gave that folder the time that it needed, right? Joey said, check this embrace after the match. So this, I think, was during commercial break. You can see the lights going off, so this is not for the cameras. This is a real moment between Chelsea and Piper, and you can see, like, referees and people walking around on the outside, and they're still in there. And I think that's as real a moment as you're going to see in a wrestling ring. So, yeah, there we go. Chelsea and Piper just having a moment after what went down at Saturday night's main event. I moved that into the other folder, so we've covered that. A lot of people asking where Hulk Hogan was. And he was rumoured to be on this show along with Cowboy Bob Orton, Wendy Richter, those names reported by WrestleVotes, but they did say that WWE were reaching out to them to try and get them onto the show, so it wasn't 100% that they would be. And actually, we got an answer where Hulk Hogan was. He was actually doing a ring walk with Colby Covington at the UFC event. He was on the UFC show. And it's interesting because I was thinking about this, like, the wrestling fans don't have any love for Hulk Hogan, right? There's maybe a little flicker of appreciation for what he did in the past, but really, you know, he ain't coming out to any great reactions in 2024, 2025 with everything that's gone down. But I think because of his political stance and standing with Donald Trump and, you know, being a high profile name that would, you know, go to those rallies for Donald Trump, I think he has gained a lot of respect from Republican voters and UFC fans largely made up of Republican voters. We see Donald Trump coming to these events quite a lot whenever they're in the New York area, and he always gets a great reaction, right? And so I think that he's decided to not go to Saturday night's main event where he's going to get a poor reaction, but instead go to UFC where I've no doubt he had a great reaction, right? So he was not at the show because he was doing the ring walk for Colby Covington. Right, we moved that one over as well. Yeah, little chat here with Drew. Drew asks the question, is this a live interview or is this pre-recorded? And they're like, oh, it's going to be a pre-records. And he's like, oh, okay. Right, well, if you want to hear me speak, go to my social media channels, right? Because I don't know how they're going to edit this to make me look stupid. And Jackie's like, we're not going to make you look stupid. And he's like, well, you know, I'm out. And he walks off. So it's one of the shortest Drew interviews, right? And then they're just standing around going, well, that's not the best start, is it really? Because this was their first guest. So it's really interesting what Drew's doing at the moment. Unless it's live, unless it's on his social media channels, unless he can control like the content, he seems to be just not wanting to engage unless it's live and going out live, right? As soon as he found out this was pre-taped, he was done. He was out of there. Right, oh my God, there's so much to unpack here. So much to unpack. Pete Rosenberg has a nightmare with this interview, right? So basically, they're chatting away and CM Punk comes in, right? And they're talking, and Pete Rosenberg is talking about how great it is to see the legends. They start talking about is Koko Ware in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rosenberg's like, no, he's not in the Hall of Fame, but I'm going to start a campaign to get him in there. As well as that, he talks about Koko Ware and about how amazing his moveset was. And CM Punk's like, don't use that word. That's so embarrassing, using the word moveset, which I've never heard before. I've never heard that said before, that the word moveset is like cringe and it's embarrassing. Jack is like, oh, tell me more. And Punk's like, it's just embarrassing. If you use that word, I know you don't know anything about wrestling. I know that you haven't got a clue what you're on about, basically. But then Koko walks in and he's like, can I just stop you all? Hello, Punk. I am actually in the Hall of Fame. And Pete Rosenberg's like, oh, God. Pete Rosenberg's like, tries to save it. He's like, oh, you don't want another ring? I mean, I don't know why he would get another Hall of Fame ring. You're just happy with the one, are you? He's trying his best to save this situation. And Koko's like, no, I'm fine with this one, thanks. And Jackie's like, someone didn't do their research. It's just, I mean, it goes for 7 minutes, so we obviously can't play it. It'd be a nightmare to try and find the little moments in there that we need to find, but that's basically how this plays out, right? And they all start doing the Koko Ware bird dance at one point as well, so it's pretty bonkers. As 7 minutes goes, it's pretty bonkers, to be honest, and it's a flipping nightmare for Pete Rosenberg, so I did enjoy that. Air says, don't say moveset. If you say that, you're an idiot. Now, this is really interesting, right? Because, well, they've pulled out the moveset bit, okay? And I completely forgot about this. But do you remember, we were talking about this in Unseen. Hangman Adam Page said, I hope the next person they give half my moveset to is at least kind of cool, right? And he was having a go at Logan. He was like, I hope whoever they give Mike, because obviously Logan does the buckshot lariat, right? Which is a Hangman Page move. So he was like, I hope whoever they give half my moveset to next time is at least kind of cool. Well, he used the word moveset, didn't he? He used the word moveset, and then literally like a day or so later, you've got CM Punk saying that anyone that uses that word is like an idiot. Let's play the clip on this. It only goes 22 seconds.
And the moveset was so amazing. And
Don't say moveset.
Sorry. Sorry.
Tell me why.
It's nerdy.
That's garbage.
It's garbage internet wrestling
If you
talk.
say that, you're an idiot.
Sorry.
What else is on the list? No, we're on to something here. This is good. What else should people not say? What else is
That's
garbage?
one of. He's right. That's one of them.
Oh God, especially if you're a wrestler and you say moveset.
No, then you're a total.
That 100% tells me that you don't know what the hell you're doing.
So how?
Was that shot fired? Was that a shot fired? I don't know. It's very interesting timing-wise, isn't it? Very interesting timing-wise. Right, T-Lil, let's move on to something else. Said, I'm not very good at these edits on the phone versus computer, so excuse me for this, but you can see her nose ring came off. And do you know what, T-Lil? You are correct. You are correct. So here, look, boom, goes up. You can sort of see it there, yeah, and you can see it coming back down. And actually, Fightful have confirmed that that is her nose ring, and that is what the blood was. It wasn't a broken nose. It was that her nose ring or nose studs or whatever it was like, actually did come flying out of her nose. So it was her stud nose ring, and you can actually see it flying in the air. So that's what the injury was from. Right, we covered that. I wanted to pull them out, put them into top story. We covered that. Right, Miss Clown, shout out to you. This is why CM Punk was there. They asked him, why are you even here? You're not even booked for this show. And he didn't appear. And he showed this picture on his phone. He's like, this is why I'm here. And he was here because he wanted to meet Tito Santana, Koko Beware, Greg Valentine, Jimmy Hart. So he was there to meet the legends. And that's a really fun picture, isn't it? Really, really fun picture. So that was Saturday night's main event. Let's go WWE, shall we? So Fightful selectors learnt that NXT will have their final taping on Thursday, December 19th from the Performance Center. That will be it for 2024. So they're just going to tape, I don't know, is it just a week or maybe two? Might only be 1 week, mightn't it? So, yeah, I mean, that would be, the 26th? And then they would be back again. So, yeah, 19th is the last day that they're in. Obviously, the superstars, WWE main roster stars, they're going to break up after Raw. Raw this week is live, but we know on Friday that's a tape show. Of course, a lot of them are back in for the holiday tour on Boxing Day, so it's not much of a break, but yeah, interesting. Right, I haven't actually seen this. WWE rank the top 10 most shocking moments, pay-per-view moments of 2024. Let's see if we agree, shall we? So, Finn Balor betrays Damian Priest at SummerSlam. Can't say that was a massive shock. Sami Zayn dethrones Gunther. I'll agree with that, right? Bayley wins the Royal Rumble. I can't remember who the favourite was, but I think Sami beating Gunther was higher up, to be honest. CM Punk costs Drew McIntyre Clash at the Castle. I don't think anyone was shocked by that. That was fairly predictable. Tonga Loa's debut at Backlash. We already had Tama Tonga, so I think Tonga Loa coming in was not that shocking. I still think the most shocking is Sami at the moment. CM Punk saves Roman Reigns from a tsunami at War Games. That's not more shocking than Sami beating Gunther. Undertaker chokeslams The Rock. I feel like that should be number one. The lights going out and the gong sounding. I mean, I think a lot of us were expecting Stone Colds. I don't think too many of us were expecting The Undertaker. Like, if that was number one, I could vibe with that. But I'm all right with it being second to John Cena announces his retirement. That was a bombshell. So, yes. They're my top three at the moment. Liv and Dominic kiss at SummerSlam. That was shocking. I can't say it was the most shocking, but yeah, that belongs on the list. Number one, Damian Priest cashes in Money in the Bank WrestleMania. That definitely belongs on the list, but more shocking than Undertaker or Cena announcing that 2025 is it. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot here that deserve to be here, but for me personally, I would change the order of this, but interesting. So there we go. That was WWE ranking the 10 most shocking pay-per-view moments of 2024. Right, Kevin posting this image of him with Triple H from WrestleMania. So yeah, this was happier times, of course. So very interested to see where that story's going. Right, there's been a bit of back and forth, not very interesting, from Xavier and Adam Pearce. Look, Xavier's like, I asked you a legitimate question about your clear mismanagement of the tag division, and instead of answering, you respond like a troll. This was Judgment Day's first defense 70 days into their reign, but I guess you only want to rectify things when it suits you. So going off basically about the tag titles, how they're never defended, there'll be a lot of people that agree with Xavier Woods. Adam Pearce is like, dudes, you want to have a legitimate conversation? Come and knock on my door in any arena on any Monday when we're in the same city, instead of you running your hornblower on Twitter like a mark. Thank you for your contributions to our television programs. So I thought that was a really good response, actually. So a little bit of a back and forth between Adam Pearce and Xavier Woods today. Yeah, I'm not sure I believe this, but I'm going to include it anyway. So, and Andrew Zarian said, we'll add a little bit more. Months ago, I had a conversation regarding this with someone at WWE. I was told that merch sales, replica title belt sales, would play a big part in making this a regular thing. So apparently Andrew Zarian has been told that if merch sales, replica belt sales of the Winged Eagle are strong, then there is a very good chance that belt could become a regular thing. It could stick around. I'm really struggling with this, right? Because my understanding is the reason why we don't use it as the WWE Championship is when you look at that belt or when someone's pictured with that belt, it doesn't really scream what the company is. Like the little logo at the top, it's too small for this day and age. You know, in this day and age, Instagram, right? People just put up pictures. Like the picture has to do the work. All the information in this day and age, it needs to be in the picture. And if you've got a wrestler with a belt and they look really cool, people aren't going to know if that's a UFC belt, if it's a boxing belt, if it's a jiu-jitsu title, if it's wrestling, if it is wrestling, is it AEW, is it WWE, is it TNA? The belt has got to do a lot of work in the modern world. So the Winged Eagle, having that little logo at the top, I've always been under the impression that's why there is a reluctance to like bring it back. So I'm really struggling with this replica title sales being a deciding factor. I sort of feel like they might have been told that so that they communicate it and then people buy the belt replicas, doesn't change anything, and WWE just make a bit more money, right? So I ain't buying it, to be honest. I'm really not buying it. I'm really struggling to see a way that the Winged Eagle comes back for good because of what we've just said. There could be an updated version of the Winged Eagle that would have a bigger WWE logo in the center, much like the World Heavyweight Championship does, the one that Gunther's got. That's got a big WWE logo in the center. So we could see a redesigned Winged Eagle. And actually, there's been concept art of that that's floated around on Twitter, social media, as we were going through this kind of belt redesign phase that we've gone through. So yeah, I just thought I'd include it because it's something that's out there that's being reported, but I'm not kind of buying it, to be honest. So WrestleBuzz, thank you though. Okay, Solo says, on this day in 2023, this man is going to be responsible for this bloodline. This is the next tribal chief. Jimmy, join me in congratulating your brother, Solo. I love you. That's what Roman said to Solo on this day in 2023. And Solo said, but y'all forgot. Well, I didn't forget, and I'm sure there's lots of people that didn't forget, but the argument remains, he never said when. He never said when Solo was going to be the next tribal chief. He just said he would be the next tribal chief. So Solo taking that after Roman lost at WrestleMania 40, like, that wasn't his time to take it. Roman wasn't finished with being the tribal chief. So you can see where Roman's coming from. You can sort of see where Solo's coming from. But for me, Solo jumped the gun, right? He took something that wasn't his yet, but he believes that it was. And he's using this as a reason, right? So, yeah, this was something Solo posted earlier today. So there we go. There's quite a bit of news in this today, isn't there? Let's go into Wyatt's. My God, we're only just getting into Wyatt's. So here we've got this image, Joe Gacy, reposted by Nikki Cross, of a graveyard, which is very interesting. A cemetery, which is very interesting, of course. It's going to be, really interesting to see what goes down on Raw. Last week, the Wyatt Sicks suffering a shock defeat. It certainly left me shocked. I didn't hate it. I didn't have a problem with it. I do think Howdy was beaten a little bit too easily, but I didn't have a problem with the loss. Just, you lose battles, but can you win the war? And I'm still very confident that the Wyatt Sicks will win the war. Howdy, LFC, but loads of you tagged me in this, and I really appreciate it. I was dropping likes to everyone that did. The time of revelation is at hand, right? So the Wyatts tweeting 3 hours ago. So Wrestle Rian said, get ready for Monday Night Raw. I don't think Uncle Howdy is going to take kindly to being cheated out of a loss last week. Of course, it was a powder in the face by Paul Ellering. Also, the quote itself, the time of revelation is at hand, is similar to a Bible reference from Revelation 1:3. The time is at hand. So we've established a connection here, okay? The revelations in the Bible tend to refer to the second coming of Jesus Christ, when he will return to earth at the end of the world. Are we going to see a second coming of Uncle Howdy turning things from playing with Carrion to being more vicious? And I really like that, you know, because I don't think we're going to be getting anything massive here. I don't think that we're going to be getting like a new character or anything like that. I think this story is just evolving and moving forwards, and I'm not expecting anything seismic here, right? So I like that. Like, could we see him stop playing around and actually become a little more vicious? That little change in his character, right? That his approach to this feud just being altered a little bit. That is something I could see happening now, right? He is going to be angry after what happened last week. And yeah, I like that. I think that's well written. So Wrestle Rian, shout out to you. We've got some other bits, though. Here we've got Fiendish Howdy, who's got some interesting thoughts. One of the signs of revelation is the beast from the sea. During the final Firefly Funhouse episode, Bray Wyatt talked about a beast rising. He talked about a dragon with 7 horns and 10 crowns. And that was the episode that he teased the return of the Fiend when he said, can you keep a secret? Remember, back in May 2019, the Fiend was revealed as Bray's dark secret. So I don't think this is leading us towards the return of the Fiend, personally. I think this is, you know, we're just evolving this story. We're just moving it forwards. I'm not expecting it to be a case that it's going to lead to the return of the Fiend or anything of that magnitude. But yeah, a nice little connection here. I like it. I thought it would be good to include. People can think about it, right? And actually, we've got more here from Fiendish Howdy. I also forgot to say, the same episode, Alexa was teased. Look at the Fiend box. First it was on the table, then when the door is opened, it is near the door. That was the same box that Alexa used to bring the Fiend back to life in 2021. So again, a little bit of a reach this for me. I really like it, but a little bit of a reach only because the connection is not the strongest connection, you know. Just because the word revelation has been used in a tweet, all of a sudden we're connecting it back to this Firefly Funhouse because one of the signs of revelation is a beast, and a beast was mentioned here. Like, you can see it's not the strongest link in the world, right? Hence why I don't think it's leading towards the return of Alexa or the return of the Fiend, or anything like of that magnitude. But I don't know, it's nice to dig into this Firefly Funhouse lore. It's nice to kind of revisit some of these moments, and it gets you thinking, you know, it gets you kind of reanalyzing, like, what is possible, where is this going, and who knows, maybe it does lead to this. But currently I'm not thinking that it will. We know that Alexa's going to come in soon, but I think that's 2025. And again, word on the street is the belief she will come in not as a part of the group, but will join the group further down the road. So she might be operating outside of the Wyatt Sicks for quite a while. We just don't know. So lots of uncertainty, let's put it that way. But certainly the Wyatt Sicks teasing that we should get something from them tomorrow on Raw. So inside the community folder, look, we've got this. So Tyrus was on Fox News and he was talking about the important issues right now, which is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And he put this poll up, right, which was retweeted by Glenn Jacobs, showing that it is not a Christmas movie, right? And it's actually a poll that Kelly the Wise Lady posted. So she was like, I made it onto Fox, which is amazing. That is amazing. That's her poll. I didn't even realize she'd done something that had been retweeted by Kane that was then on Fox News. So Kelly the Wise Lady, shout out to you. And Just Dave Now said, Triple H, can we get Jesse Ventura commentating on a WrestleMania match? Last night was amazing having him back. Yeah, I got so many people asking about the Winged Eagle and can we bring it back? Can we start a campaign? But for the reasons that I said earlier, I just don't think that's going to be possible unless it's changed. But actually Jesse commentating on a match at WrestleMania, that feels a little more possible. So I thought I'd include that in Unseen. Okay, let's go over to Fun, shall we? Not loads in Fun today, actually. It's more of a Saturday night's main event kind of fallout show, right? A little bit of fan chat out to you. Chelsea Green said, I'm sipping on the haterade, right? It's hard being on top. So this is Chelsea saying, I woke up as the first ever Women's United States champion. So what's first on the agenda? I'm going to Disneyland. Naomi said, I hope they kick you out. Lol. Bailey said, I hope you're too tall for the rides. Meechin said, I hope it rains the whole day. So lots of support. Matt Cardona said, history-making couple. Coach Code, thank you. Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green have become the first married couple to win the WWE US Championship. The first married couple. He won it, of course, previously, and she is the first Women's United States champion. So, fun little fact there. And this is bonkers. I was saving this for a rainy day. It's not really a rainy day, but today's the day. Look at this. This is actually Bret the Hitman Hart in a pantomime, right? And apparently it's real, because I was looking at it thinking, is this AI? But people are actually saying that they went to it in the comments and it was bonkers, right? So this is Bret Hart in a play, I don't have any details on this. I don't know what country this was in. I don't have any details.
Bret the Hitman Hart, making all your wishes come true with Aladdin, the magical family musical.
I am the genie of the lamp.
You've never seen a genie like me before. Uh-oh, that evil magician Abenazir. Time for the sharpshooter. Here's my favorite part of the show, the big dance number. Don't miss Ross Petty's Aladdin. Cheer the hero and boo the villain. Reserve your magic carpet ride today.
Honestly, 30 years as a pro wrestling fan, and this is the first time that I'm seeing this. That was 5 days ago. This was only uploaded on the 6th. I mean, I don't think it's AI. There are people wondering if it is AI, but people are like, no, I went to this. Are they telling the truth? I don't know. I mean, it's just bonkers. It's just bonkers. So there we go. Bret Hart in a pantomime in Aladdin, putting sharpshooters on people. So I have never, ever seen that before. I have never seen that before. So, Nick Butcher, Kim's Chains, thank you. I don't mind putting little bits like this in once in a while. It's hard to do on days where we have shows because obviously they dominate Unseen, but on a quiet Sunday, we can sometimes find a little space for something a bit quirky, right? So that was that. Let's go over to other, shall we? Yeah, Hank and Tank. They are the new Reality of Wrestling champions, which is quite a surprise. So, yeah, this is obviously the promotion Booker T owns. Obviously, they are part of the whole WWID thing. But Hank and Tank winning those championships. So, Shaquem, thank you. Patrick, appreciate it. This was the footage of the moment. So, crowd reaction is pretty crazy, actually. Big pop. Look at the shock as well. I'm wondering if we're going to see those belts on NXT. That's the reason I included it. Is this going to be something we just don't see on NXT? Or because it's Booker T's promotion, are they going to be a bit more inclined to actually show the belts off and actually present them as the Reality of Wrestling tag champs? I don't know, but I thought it was worth including. Natalya said, I'll say it louder for the people in the back. It's my turn. Nearly 2,000 matches, 17 years, 2 singles titles. It's my effing turn, and no one is going to outwork me. No one is even close. It is bonkers that she has had 2,000 matches, 17 years. She's been in WWE how long? And to show for it, she's got 2 singles titles. 2 singles titles. That's insane. That is insane. Like, this for me is why Natalya so deserves to get this Intercontinental Championship. So I hope that this passion, this fire, I hope she's going to bring that to the Intercontinental title tournament. And the last thing we've got in this folder, John Cena posting this image of the winged eagle, old school, looks like it's got the F on it. So Cena's IG post, he breaking the record in 2025. JDS Aviation Adventures said, I wonder what Cena has in mind. Breaking that record, I would imagine. So, let's go to thanks. Raymond, thank you, my friend. Chris, really appreciate the support. Wrestling's biggest fan, thank you, buds. Sweet Chin Wrestling, thank you, my friend. Patrick Smith, really appreciate it. Kelly the Wise Lady. Kane's favourite demon, appreciate it. I am the colour red, thank you, my friend. Matter, thank you. Tea Time Danger, thank you, my friend. Emmanuel, appreciate it, buds. Big Migs Gaming, thank you. Big Bam, thank you. Jang Tae Sang, thank you, my friends. William Hensey, thank you for the support as always. And Charlie D'Angelo tagging me in the embrace between Piper and Chelsea. So there we go. That was today's Unseen. Lots of fallout from Saturday night's main event. Really appreciate the support this weekend. And don't forget, we will be back tomorrow with our Raw watch along. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.